And if anybody has seen Melvin the Elfin, please send him to my office. It seems like he's gotten into Ginger's giggle juice again. Alright everybody, well enjoy the rest of your lunch and I will send you back to your stations here in just a moment. Oh, hey everybody, it's your pal Jingles again. Welcome to the first official episode of Jingle All the Way. And if you Jingle Pals remember from my announcement video, we're going to be talking about how I became the head elf over all the polls today. So, let's start at the very beginning, because as we all know, that's a very good place to start. Back to when I was a wee little elf.
Oh, ain't that sweet?
Ginger, I'm trying to record my vlog.
Oh, snap.
Sorry guys for the interruption. Anyway, back to when I was a wee little elf.
No.
Sorry. We were what you call a shelf elf. You see, how many of you out there have shelf elves? I'm sure you all do, or you all should, because they help check in and see how you're doing all year and then report back to Santa. Well, Santa's what some people call him. I like to call him the big guy or the big boss. But anyway, so they report back to the big boss and let him know how you're doing throughout the year. Now me, I belong to a little boy named Oliver. See, Oliver and his family named me Jingle S. Bell, or Jingle Stocking Bell, but nobody ever calls me by my middle name because I never get in trouble, right? I'm just kidding. But anyways, they shortened it to Jingle S. Bell and most of them just call me Jingles. Now the reason why they called me that is because they had to tie a bell around my neck so that they could figure out where I was in the house when I was causing mischief. So, after of course working for them for several years, I eventually grew too big to be able to travel between the North Pole and Oliver's house. Because after going between a low gravity plane and a high gravity plane for so long, I grew too big and I could have broken a shelf. So, Santa promoted me. He promoted me to a stable elf. And I worked under Darian, the head stable elf, and I learned how to take care of the reindeer. Silly me, getting all flustered. The name of the one that I took care of, his name was Buck. But anyway, I took care of him, and then slowly but surely they taught me how to train the deer for the reindeer games. Now, have you guys ever heard of the reindeer games? We'll do an episode later on that talks about all the details of the reindeer games, but basically it trains them for their position. They compete for their position in Santa's fleet, because like Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, those are actually titles in Santa's fleet. They are not what you would call names. But anyway, so after working in the stable and then getting promoted to be able to be a trainer and then a head trainer, and then I was able to take at least 4 deer to the reindeer games to be able to gain titles and be title holders. So after that, I kind of earned my place to be able to be promoted again. Now, I'm not the only elf that gets promoted, because you have to work really hard to be able to get promoted to another location. Because Santa wants us to be trained in all aspects of the pole so we can help all year round. So the next place I was put into toy creation. Now this is the most ingenious part, and it's run by none other than Glitch Gadget. He's like one of the coolest elves ever. You'll have to meet him in one of the later episodes. Remind me in the comments, or I'll just have Ginger write it down because she remembers everything. Can you get that down? Thanks, Ginge. Anyway, so after working with Glitch for a while and testing out toys that were new creations, then I got promoted to working under my brother. His name's Jingles. He's the head carpenter. And the first toy I ever made was this little nutcracker. He is my pride and joy. And if you ever meet me in person, I usually keep him inside my pouch. He's my pride and joy. But anyway, after working, of course, in that time period, we were actually making wood toys. Now, of course, we promoted to making plastic toys like most of you get now. And of course, after working under him and in the carpenter shop, even though it's technically now called Toy Creation, and then the Creation Shop, where we create the toys that we have developed, then I had kind of fulfilled all the different positions I needed to be able to be moved to one of the most secretive places in the entire North Pole. You guys want to know what it's called? It's called the Magic Collector's Vault. Now, not everybody gets promoted to this. It's just based on your skill set and what you can do and what you can't do. And some elves are promoted to working in the kitchen with Ginger Snap and Mrs. Claus. Or, of course, you're moved over to work. Some stay in the stable. It just depends on yours. But I had a wide variety of skills. So I was moved to the Magic Collection Vault, where we collect the magic from all the believers and put into vials to help run Santa's sleigh and help give the magic to the rangers so that they can fly. Now, of course, the big man said, now, Jingles, you've got the skill set, but there's one thing you have to be able to do. Can you keep a secret? Of course I can keep a secret. So, can I tell you any more details about that job? Unfortunately, not. So, moving on. After 100 years of service, I got one of the best news, some of the best, look at me stumbling over my words, some of the best news ever. After 300 years of service, Bernie, or Bernard, was stepping down from his role as the head elf, and Santa had called me into his office to let me know that all of my previous bosses had nominated me for the position of head elf. Can you believe that? So, after the announcement ceremony, I went back to get my sash, my head elf sash, and on top of it, but connected to it, was a letter from Bernard. I'm going to read it to you guys because this is framed how I, Jingle S. Bell, run the North Pole and how I fulfill my job as the head elf. Dear Jingles, I want to congratulate you on being appointed the next head elf. I will tell you that there will be times where you feel like you are failing or not very good at your job. But that's normal and you just have to push through and do the best you can. I have no worries or doubts that you will be able to do just that after watching your growth, development, and dedication to excel at all of your previous jobs. If you ever need some advice, the big man knows where to find me. Your pal, Bernie. P.S. I believe in you. And that, my Jingle Pals, is how I excelled at being the head elf and what has framed how I run all of the polls and work with all of the elves and am able to bring holiday magic to each and every one of you all year long. Now, I have to get back to my head elf duties and letting the elves know what positions they need to go to, but I will see you all in the jingle of a bell. Jingle, jingle, jingle! Alright, all elves, please head back to your stations, and we will come by your stations here in just a moment.
Oh, and tell Sprinkles I need her in my kitchen.
Oh, and Sprinkles, Ginger Snap needs to see you in her kitchen. Alright, guys, have a great day. Love ya!